invigorate the soul, uplift the heart, and steer in the right direction. Ancient Tales of Wisdom on the SOH Radio Network.
According to Buddhism, the world and all its beings are connected and governed by the universal laws of karma. No matter how one lives their current life, any misdeed or virtue from a person's past will come to greet them in the present. History is littered with such tales. This is one of them. A long time ago, in ancient India, there lived a young man who was the only child in his family. He was a devoted son who worked hard and looked after all the household duties. As his parents aged, his workload increased. His parents urged him to find a wife to help him with his duties, but he refused and insisted on doing the work himself. After much persistence from his mother, he eventually married. At first, his wife helped look after his elderly parents, but not long after she became increasingly hostile towards them. She complained to her husband, but he paid no attention to this. One day, while he was outside the house, she scattered rubbish inside and blamed it on his parents, who by now were blind. After persistent complaints and pressure, he relented and agreed to deal with his parents. He told his parents that their relatives in another region wanted to see them. He helped them onto a cart and began driving it through the forest. While in the depths of the forest, he dismounted and walked, telling his parents he was watching out for bandits, which were common in the area. The young man then impersonated the sounds and cries of thieves, pretending to attack the carriage. His parents, out of love for their son, told him to save himself, as they were old and blind. They implored the thieves to leave their son alone. While they cried out, the young man beat and killed his parents. He then left their bodies in the forest before returning home. Thousands of years later, around 500 BC, the Buddha Sakyamuni had been teaching and spreading his Dharma throughout India for many years. Sakyamuni had many disciples. Amongst his 10 foremost male disciples was Moggallana. In China, he's often known as Mujianlian. Moggallana had attained the status of arhat through cultivation and was the most accomplished with supernormal abilities. Whereas other disciples possessed maybe 1 or 2 abilities, Moggallana had complete mastery over all 6 supernormal powers. His most spectacular power was his ability to transform his own body into anything he wanted. One day, Sakyamuni led 500 disciples on a visit to the Tavatimsa heaven. On their way there, they disturbed the great Naga, Nandopananda, who was a giant king cobra. Nandopananda vowed to disrupt Sakyamuni's return and wrapped himself around the great mountain Sumeru in wait. Upon their return, one of the disciples, who often traveled the area, noted how strange it was he couldn't see Mount Sumeru. Sakyamuni informed him that the Naga had wrapped himself around the mountain. Upon hearing this, many disciples offered to subdue the great beast. But Sakyamuni, realizing the power of the serpent, denied their requests and instead allowed Moggallana to confront the creature. Moggallana transformed himself into a giant serpent to fight the beast. Nandopananda sent forth a blast of poison to drive him away. Moggallana responded with a blast of his own. The 2 great serpents exchanged blasts. The Naga then breathed fire at Moggallana. Moggallana responded with a greater breath of fire, injuring the cobra. Moggallana himself was unharmed. The Arhat then made himself small and flew in one ear of the Naga and out the other. then up one nostril and down the other. He then crawled down Nando Pananda's throat and walked up and down the insides of the great serpent, from head to tail, tail to head. The serpent was enraged at having his intestines disturbed and planned to squeeze Moggallana to death once he emerged, but Moggallana escaped without him knowing. The serpent then fired another breath of poison at the Arhat, but he was unfazed. Sakyamuni then bestowed upon Moggallana the power to subdue the beast. He transformed into Garuda, a giant celestial eagle, who was the mortal enemy of the Naga. The Naga tried to flee, but the great eagle caught him and brought him back to Sakyamuni. Nando Pananda pleaded for mercy and offered to become a disciple. Sakyamuni told him that followers of the Buddha are compassionate and accepted his offer.